Hey everyone, guess what? New Zealand's thinking of changing its flag. Why? Well, let's get to that in a minute. But first let me go over a quick review of the history. This is the flag of New Zealand now. This was the flag of New Zealand adopted in 1840. As you can tell, the British had something to do with this. At some point in time, the British found out that New Zealand existed and established some degree of control. In 1840 they signed the Treaty of Waitangi in New Zealand with the Maori people, and it basically meant that New Zealand was now a British colony, thus the Union Jack becoming the flag of New Zealand. In 1865, Britain required all of its colonies to have their government ships fly the blue ensign, which was a flag that was blue with the Union Jack in the canton, the upper left corner. It was expected that your colony would have the blue ensign with the colony's badge in the fly of the flag. New Zealand did not have a colonial badge to put there. So instead of designing a cool colonial badge to put on the blue ensign for their ships, they decided to put the letters NZ in the blue field. Thankfully, in 1869, they changed that to the Southern Cross, which you see on New Zealand's flag today. So, good job whoever thought of that. Now, this flag for colonial government ships started getting popular on land in New Zealand. And in 1902, this became the New Zealand flag. And it remains the flag of New Zealand even after their independence from Britain. Now, in 2014, Prime Minister John Key of New Zealand announced plans to hold a referendum for the people of New Zealand to decide whether or not to change the national flag. Why would you want to do that? Well, two main reasons I'm listing here. Some might say that because New Zealand is now independent and has its own identity and its own culture, that the flag should be less British-y and maybe more New Zealand-y. Another concern is that this is the flag of Australia. This is the flag of New Zealand. Australia, New Zealand. Australia, New Zealand. Some people have gotten these mixed up. Which one's Australia and which one's New Zealand? So New Zealand's gotten a flag panel together, and they've come up with 40 finalist designs. So let's take a look at some of them. Now you might notice a lot of these have ferns depicted on them. This is a plant that's you can see all over New Zealand, and it's sort of become this national symbol of New Zealand. It's kind of iconic. You also see a lot of black and white, which makes sense because those are also kind of accepted as the national colors of New Zealand, also on sports team jerseys. In fact, the All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team, has their jerseys with black and white and a fern on it. So black and white as the color scheme, a fern as the national symbol, makes sense. You also see a lot of these swirly things. Those are koru, representations of ferns. You can often see in Maori art. You can see the Southern Cross makes a lot of appearances in a lot of these designs. It's kind of the Southern Hemisphere's version of the Big Dipper, or Polaris, the North Star. Now these two designs feature the Pleiades constellation, called Matariki in Maori tradition, signaling the beginning of the Maori New Year. The Maori name for New Zealand is Aotearoa, which means the land of the long white cloud. So some sort of representation of a long white cloud you can see in a few designs. The national Maori flag, called Tino Ranga Tiratanga, if I'm saying that right. It's red, white, and black, and it's got a koru on it. So you can see a lot of the designs seem to be trying to use some of those elements. There seems to be a lot of compromise designs trying to combine the current New Zealand flag with something new, like the fern. So by mid-September 2015, the flag panel hopes to narrow all these down to 4 final designs. By 2016, they're planning to have the public vote on which of those 4 becomes the final one alternative, and then the final vote around March or so, the public is expected to vote on whether or not to change the flag. So, should New Zealand change its flag? Tell me what you think in the comments. What do I think? Well, I'm not a New Zealander, but I am a flag enthusiast. And as a flag enthusiast, let me encourage any New Zealanders who might be watching, consider what a cool flag can do. There are some flags that are recognized all around the world. Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, and these flags represent their countries so clearly and so iconically, it just makes them look awesome. It makes their countries look awesome. So think about it. It's your decision, New Zealanders, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you decide. So let's wait and see what the final 4 designs are going to look like, and then see which final one they pick to be the alternative to go to a vote against the one they've had for a while. So let's stay tuned and see what New Zealand decides. Thanks for watching. Bye.